Tana Clymore. 18 years with Young Living, and I was lucky enough to sit beside her for 2 full days in the Diamond Forum in Portugal 2022. And I found out she's a real vault of treasures, of knowledge. And I couldn't even place you anywhere. It's like, are you with the foundation? Are you with legal? Are you with, rank advancements? You have such a vast knowledge of everything. Can you tell us the story?
So my journey began with Young Living customer service. So I started not too long before they moved out of the old Payson building. It actually became a nice corporate building, and started just working part-time in customer service. I didn't know anything about oils. I didn't know anything about Young Living. I didn't know anything about that world. My son got an opportunity to come to Europe as a student ambassador. So I just wanted a job to help support him.
So you joined in the US or in Europe?
In the U.S. And so I started in the U.S. in the call center, and there was maybe 80 people there at the time. It was very small.
And something like 2005, 2006?
It was in 2004.
Oh.
2004. I started in February. I started with what we have is just a service company that just employs people out, and then after 3 months then you could be hired on by that company if they wanted to. And many people know Brittany Lambert, who is the events manager. She was actually my first manager in the call center.
So many amazing people have come through the call center.
And Lindy Smith as well. She was one of the managers of the call center, and so I got to work with them, and it was just amazing. But as I got to talk to our members and learn about the oils, I grew to love the company. And so I've been there ever since. And so I started in the call center. I managed the call center for about 7 years. And so
you managed the call center?
I did. I managed the call center with Lindy. Her and I managed together. And for about 7 years, I started the international team that we had there in the call center because we didn't really have one.
Thanks to you, we had this international. Because I'm often in the US, and then I order to Hawaii or to wherever I am.
Yes.
And they make it possible, because otherwise they say phone Europe.
Exactly. So the international support team that we have in the US, that was under me at that time. And we started there, but we were all self-taught because nobody knew that much about international. So we all had to research and learn ourselves. And there was only about 4 of us at the time.
So you established the processes.
So we did. We established the processes. Singapore was the first market that I got to really be involved in when it opened. We dealt with the leaders a lot. And so I got to spend 5 weeks there and help train the staff and learn about that. And the career in international has just bloomed since then. Spent a lot of time in the APAC market. I've worked on about 10 or 11 different market openings all across the globe, helping those.
Europe, Asia, the Americas.
Exactly. And so I actually spent a year and a half in Canada.
Wow.
My husband and I moved there, and I ran the office and everything there for about a year and a half before coming back to the U.S. and then joining the international team again and working on the regions and stuff. So I did a lot of time in APAC, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, a lot of those markets,
so
Australia.
Really, to understand Young Living,
exactly,
you have to be global.
Exactly.
You were in Australia, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Europe.
Exactly. But I tell you,
in Canada, in the US.
I've done a lot of them, but I will tell you my big moment where I really understood what Young Living was about was when it came to Ecuador. I had worked with Gary and Mary quite a bit in the call center and stuff like this, helping her there, and worked with Gary on some international things. But when we got to open Ecuador, they had me really involved. And so I went to the opening. I was training the staff and helping set up the office there.
So it was not Finca Botanica, but Young Living Ecuador was?
Yes, Young Living Ecuador. So Finca Botanica was already developed and stuff, and so we were opening the office. So I got to go down, and I believe that was I have to get my dates right. I think that was right after Singapore, so I think it was in 2011 that we did that one. But I got to go and spend about 4 weeks there. But what I really realized Young Living was about is when I went to the farm and to the school. When you're going to Chongqing and you're driving by that old school, and you hear the stories, but you see it. And you see the houses and, you know, the markets that they have with just meat hanging and dry, and you see how these people are living. And then you go to the school, and you've got these huge gates, and they just open up, and it's this beautiful building. Yeah. And you see all of these children, and this was in November. And so it was getting close to the holidays, and so they took us on a tour. But what really stuck with me is they took us to the music room, and they were teaching music to these children, and they were learning Christmas songs in
And that was
English.
in the old school?
The old school.
Around the corner where Gary was driving by so often?
No, this was in the new school.
Oh, that was the new school that
school.
Gary started?
The Academy.
Which became Young Living Academy.
Yep, it was the Academy, and it hadn't been open that long.
Amazing.
But these children had learned Christmas songs in English because they knew a lot of people were coming from, you know, America and different
how they welcome
things.
us. It's so nice.
It was amazing to see these children that wouldn't have an opportunity to do so much, getting the education, but they're singing and the smiles on their faces because they were so proud that they had learned this, and they were so happy to engage with us. So I've got to go to the school a few times. And the feeling there, the children there, to me, that's what Young Living's about. And that's what really hit me. I mean, I had been with the company for a while and loved the products, loved the members, loved the experience. But, man, to see those little kids and to see what Gary built for them. And then you go to the Finca Botanica farm. And this was before the spa and everything was opened there. But you see Gary talking about the bricks and how he made them. And he showed us how he made the bricks for the school. It hit home. And I realized that this is where I'm meant to be. This is the company that I'm meant to be with for long term. I mean, I can't see myself going anywhere else. I said I grew to really love and appreciate Gary and Mary and their vision and what they wanted for Young Living. I said I worked very closely with them in Ecuador. I spent a lot of time down there helping them with the office and doing things, and it was just fantastic. And so that to me is what Young Living's for.
So the children, it's about lives. Young
It
Living
is.
is about lives.
It
Saving
is.
lives, changing lives.
Changing
uplifting
lives. Exactly. And the foundation is such a critical part of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, the work that we do with, you know, you hear the term, you know, people before profit.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people think that means Young Living doesn't need to make money. But to me, what that means is Gary's wasn't lining his pockets with a profit.
Yeah.
He was helping people. The people in Nepal, the people in Ecuador, the women that they work with, you know, Hope for Justice, for human trafficking. Yeah. Those are the people that Gary meant to help. Yeah. That's where his profits are going to go, is to help those people. Yeah. And to me, that resonated with me, and that hit me so hard.
So mission-driven is not just a marketing word here.
Exactly.
It's the reality.
That's the thing. And I don't think I really fully understood that until that time. Yeah. And then...
And you said bricks, the bricks that Gary made, so he was always a builder. Always a builder, but not just of, you know, buildings and structures, but of people's lives. There's so many times that I would see him and hear him talk about, you know, and people would just come up and you would hear their stories about how, you know, he'd helped them, he'd helped their family. And I never saw Gary speak, whether it was to an audience of 10,000 or to, you know, the staff, where he didn't get emotional when he was talking about helping people. And he got leaky eye syndrome.
Leaky eye syndrome, exactly. That's what it was. And it was just amazing. But that was just my journey with Young Living. And it's like I haven't looked back because it means so much to work for a company that puts the people first. Yeah. But not just any people, the people that really need it. When he talks about getting oils in every home, when you go to some of these places and you see these homes, you know what they need. And it's not just the products, it's the opportunity that Young Living gives them. Yeah. And that's what resonates with me. And that's what I love about this company. And like I said, Gary was always just such, it was just so good to see him and hear him speak, and just the energy that he possessed and the things that he was able to do that nobody in this world would be able to do or would want to do. Yeah. the places that he went, you look at some of these places and you're like, how was he able to do this? But he just had such a positive energy that went out. And Mary is the same way. I mean, they're just true, humble
before
people.
we go to Gary and Mary, I would like to ask you, you started in the call center.
I did.
And so many big shots, people that are nowadays big shots in Young Living, all started in the call center. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a good place to start. I think it's a good place to fall in love with the company, because you get to learn about the product, but then you get to learn about our members as well, our brand partners, our members, kind of the lifeblood, really, of our company. But you make that connection with them, and that's why you want to stay, because you make that connection, you feel that connection, and so you want to do more to help. So, okay, I'm in the call center and I'm helping people, but it's not enough, I want to, I can see where I can do more. We were talking about, Johnny in IT. He started in the call center and now he's in IT because he's like, he sees a need, he can help. Lindy in marketing, Brittany with events, and all of these people, started out in the call center where they learned the roots of Young Living.
That's it.
That's the main thing. They learned the roots of Young Living and what it really means to be in this company, what this company's about. And I think that's the main connection that some people miss if they don't. And so they...
So like Gary was a farmer and a builder all his life eventually. And this is like serving people, the customers. That's also what the field does with what we brand partners are doing, being there for the people.
Exactly.
Changing lives.
It's a great partnership.
Yeah.
It really is.
It makes us both cry, so we have to go on now to Gary and Mary.
I know, exactly, because it does. I mean, they both have a very special place in my heart. The whole company does. Yeah. And I said, and the members like yourself, I mean, just hearing them every day, and we used to laugh in the call center. I said that we were very small, but we would have some members that would call and they would talk sometimes 30, 45 minutes or more. But it was just so engaging, and to talk to them, and you knew about their kids, you knew about everything. So it was really that personal connection. And I kind of miss that now, because sometimes I think we don't always get it. That's why I love events like this, so that we can build that connection again, because I do miss that,
I mean, what people don't realize, for example, in Europe, it's 195,000 members of Young Living. So the call center nowadays, I don't know how many call on average, but it's a huge number. So even if there is waiting time, I do it also. Sometimes I contact Diamond support, of course, because it's a Diamond I can, and sometimes I really wait to see how the experience is. And it's also funny because they don't know me, so they treat me like everyone else. And that's very nice also. And some are really nice, and some still need some more training. But what you always feel is really they are trying their best.
They are.
This is like the people that come to Young Living, they want to serve, they have a special spark.
Yeah, and you want them to, I don't think a lot of them have had their aha moments yet. They haven't had that connection yet, but they will. And I think it's our job as leaders in the corporate to help them find that moment, to share the culture. Gary's not here. And so we have to keep that energy alive, and that memory alive, and that culture alive. So those of us that have been here, we have to help those that are just coming in and explain to them, especially at our customer service level and our marketing, because you can't market something you don't understand. And I think that's really key, is to really teach them about the culture, share stories, share videos. And I know when new people are coming in, that's what I like to do. I'm like, here, go watch these videos, watch these and see, and then start learning a little bit, because we all need to have that moment or we're not going to get that connection.
So is there a favorite moment you experienced with Gary, with Mary, that you wish to share? Because I'm sure there were many private moments, but something that is maybe inspiring.
There were many of them, and I'm trying to think of...
So many that you can't think of one.
Especially in Ecuador, like I said, just seeing him in his element on the farm. And we went on a tour around the farm, and he was showing everybody and talking about plants and getting off, the thing. And it was funny because we were there, and he was at the distillery and he had chairs and everybody was sitting out talking. And he would call me Tanya for whatever reason, and so, but I loved it. It was just endearing, and so he was talking and he said, and so, how about that, Tanya? And so I just looked at him, smiled, and I answered him, but we used to joke that we would have to travel the world and to see each other, because even though we were both in the corporate office, sometimes we would travel to see each other. But yeah, he would always call me Tanya, and sometimes I think he did it just because, and it was just a lot of fun. But just seeing him in his element on the farms and jousting one time. I never knew there were rules to jousting, but I got to judge it one time.
Wow.
And I think it was during convention, and I got to be one of the judges and so I learned a little bit about it. But talking to him about that and the horses, because I'm a big horse lover myself, and to have that connection with him and to see him out there jousting and doing his thing and all this kind of stuff, it was fun. It was just a lot of fun to see him in that kind of element. I mean, when we would come into the office, the corporate building, he would almost look uncomfortable in his suit and everything. He always wore his boots, but he would look uncomfortable in his suit. But to see him in Ecuador and the farm, giving tours, getting off, out of the truck, looking at plants and doing this, or, at the Mona farm, talking about the plants and doing stuff like this. That was just always so much fun to see him in his element and to learn and to listen. When he was talking about, distilling the oils and how it worked, you learned so much.
It was always like a gate, a portal opening.
It was.
It's unbelievable what the man could do.
It was. And it was just, the brick farm just sticks out of my head so much as he stood there and showed us and talked us through how the bricks worked and how you didn't have to use anything. He connected them. To me, that's always stuck out of my mind all these years later, is listening to him.
The principles of building.
Yes. And you could just feel the love and the passion that he had for what he did. And so Ecuador moments were some of the best.
So
they really, really were. And so
he saw also the family.
Yes.
At a special time. They lived all in that tree house.
I know, and I love that tree house. It is amazing to see that tree house.
Yeah.
It is so much fun to see that and everything that he does. Even the worm farm that we have down on the farm in Ecuador.
That's so special.
And learning the science behind that. I mean, it was always a teaching moment,
Yeah.
So it was always a lot of fun. And then I remember in Canada, we were doing the grand opening.
Yeah.
And we always like to put on some sort of cultural type thing. And Gary wanted to do a cowboy show. And so we worked really hard to find this professional cowboy show, entertainment show that they did. And then Gary got to be involved. And so that was so much fun to see him up there interacting with these professionals. They did gun tricks and rope tricks and all this kind of stuff. So it was really fun to, like I said, see him in his element. And that was some of the best times, is to see him like that.
Many people don't realize that Mary Young is, to this day, working like every morning, 7:30 till 7, 8 in the evening.
Yes, the woman is tireless. I mean, she works so hard and so often, because she's very passion driven, And so the respect I have for her and the things that she does, she's got so much on her plate now, especially. But she always rises above, and she's always available, and she's always, willing to take things on and learn. And it's just amazing the work that she accomplishes and gets done. Because this is a passion. This isn't a company for them. This is their passion. This is their life. And I think
it's so amazing, because Gary stands in his own right, but Mary Young is standing in her own right, and I think she will be a model woman for times to come.
I think so too.
Many people, her life work, her life achievement is absolutely amazing, because you always see Gary and Mary together.
Yeah.
But this is. It's wonderful, and it's so important to have a strong woman as an example.
It is, and she is that. I mean, there's not a woman stronger that I know. I mean, she just, it was always fun, because Gary was always the passionate product one, and she was always, always came across as the business savvy one, even though
she took care of the money.
Yeah, exactly.
She made sure there was never bank credits. I love it. I love it.
It was like yin and yang type thing, and so they were such the perfect couple, and they just played off each other so well in the things that he did and the support that she gave him. It was just incredible. I said, I've never been around people like that before. And I said, that's what this company's about, and, about the family.
Yeah.
And, Christmas parties back, years ago when we were smaller and we would all get together and the boys would be on stage and they would be singing and dancing and Mary would sing, and it was family. You'd have people from the farms there and the warehouse there, corporate there. And those memories are just priceless, just to be able to see them interacting, with people and things like this and talking to them. So many memories.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, I love it. And so I appreciate the opportunity. I could talk for hours.
Yeah, I noticed actually we should do an interview series, really a documentary. And you should definitely write a book or have videos recorded of interviews, because that's how books come together nowadays. It's not like you write down and write it, but you get recorded and then it gets transcribed.
But so many good memories here.
Yeah.
So thank you for allowing me to share for a few. And I didn't tear up, which is good.
Yeah,
Usually I do.
We managed, Tana, but I want to still come to the call to action. And after all, we're also marketing people here.
Yes.
So your present task, can you make a call to action about your present task? You're working with the foundation, for the foundation?
So right now, I support the foundation. I don't work for the foundation. I work for the Europe region. So Europe, Middle East, Africa, Russia. That's my region that I support from a corporate side.
Yeah.
And so I help them get what they need. But my call to action to every member and brand partner out there is keep the story alive. Keep telling stories, listening to people that have been around. Keep the stories alive, because that's what's going to keep Young Living grounded and not get too corporate. It's going to keep us grounded, but we have to keep sharing the story to all those people who didn't know Gary and don't know Mary. We have to keep their story alive, and that would be my call to action. I work for the region. I support the region however they need it, but in the end, I want to support our brand partners and support Gary's vision. And that's what I can say. Keep his story alive.
So no matter the products, no matter the events, no matter the farms, no matter the foundation, there's so many flowers, so many beautiful branches of Young Living.
There are.
But the main thing is about the story that's behind it.
It's about the story.
About the vision, about the heart.
It is. I mean, our products are fantastic. They can almost sell themselves. Gary put so much love and passion in them, but that's part of the story to tell.
Yeah.
The story of how lavender came to be, from the farm in France and working with, Nicholas Landel's father there and all this that's the stories we need to tell, because that's about the product, but that's the company. The foundation, how did it come about? Why did it come about? That's a story we need to keep telling to let people know, because new people coming in, they don't feel that. And they need to feel our passion about the company, about the product, and why we do what we do. And that would be a call to action to everyone, is like, tell the story. Tell the story about the products. Tell the story, the why. Find your why, and then share that. That would be it.
I'm always fascinated by your hands, so I'm filming them as well. And actually, these two new oil blends, one heart and one voice, they're poignant.
Yes.
They're exactly about that.
They are. And that was why they were created by the foundation, and they have the story behind them. It all goes back to story, of how the labels were created, by the woman in, I don't want to get it wrong, I think she was in Ecuador, but I'd have to go back and see.
She's an Ecuadorian artist. She is now in the US.
Exactly.
Became a designer, but she loved to do these graphics.
So those are the stories that we need to share, because I said that's the root of Young Living, and that's what it is. I said we have amazing
she came
products.
as a student in the Young Living Academy.
Yes, you're right, she did.
School.
She did.
Amazing.
Those are the stories we need to share, and I don't think we share them enough.
Yeah.
We focus on the products, I said, which are great, but the why. Yeah. Why do we have lavender? Why do we have Thieves? Thieves has a great story too.
Yeah.
Let's share these stories about why Gary created them. Every blend, and you and I had this discussion, every blend has a reason. Yeah. Each oil is put in there for a reason. Why? And I think that's what we need to get out there more, so we can share that story and encourage people to use this blend. Why? Well, here's why it was created. And not just say, White Angelica is great. Why is it great? Well, here's what it's meant to do. what is the story and what is the reason behind? I learned some really interesting things from you about, motivation, about abundance and things like this. And those are the things that's going to keep this company going for many years to come.
Yeah.
I really think.
It's really like an oral tradition also in some way, like in the old times.
Yes.
Storytelling.
Exactly. And that's what we need to do. We need to be better storytellers.
Yeah.
I said our products are great. Our business plan is great. Our opportunity is fantastic.
Well, you have done excellent now as a storyteller. That was longer than we planned.
Sorry.
And I thank you so much, Tana.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it. And it's been lovely to sit down and talk to you even throughout these past couple of days. So I appreciate it. Appreciate you teaching me some things. I can always learn.
Thank you so much, Tana, Clymore.
Yes.
And actually what Tanya, as Gary called you, is expressing we are here to learn.
Yes, exactly.
That is the main thing. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.